On this episode, it's pretty hard to sell a house full of monsters and scratch and sniff baby shit brown paint. Hi. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode... I'm on the epi. I can't do it. We're starting over. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 49 of the Ask Jason Show. I think that one was a little bit loud. Joe was like, ugh, with his headphones on. He was a bit... I have two stories to tell today about houses that I either have sold or are about to put up for sale and advice about getting them ready for sale. They're sort of anecdotal stories, but they're both very true. And there's a lesson to be learned from this, which I'll probably follow up with after the fact if I can hold my focus long enough. First one, had a house for sale. Priced really, really well. Very nice house. Recently renovated. Great building lot. Area of the St. John CMA that was getting attention at the time. Had 26 viewings on the thing. No complaints about price. No complaints about location. No complaints about the land, the property, nothing. All of the realtors just telling me like, I don't know, man, they just weren't feeling it. They liked something else better. I don't know, it just wasn't the one. I wish I could give you more information. And I get that, that's okay. But also like, so do your job to figure out what people don't like about houses. But that's okay, I will let it pass. Not everybody's me. That was a joke. I go back and I look at the place. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. We got this much viewing, this much attention. The marketing is obviously working. If inside of a couple of months you're getting like 25 views, so what's going on? I walk through the place, starting over, open the front door, look up, what am I feeling when I walk in here? And then facing the front door, as soon as I walk in, there's a photo of the homeowners at their wedding. They're both very good looking people, very attractive people. He is very big, very tall man. Like Joe is 6'4". Joe stands next to this guy and he looks like a child. Like the guy's like 6'7", 6'8", Joe? Big man, right? And like thick, not like thick, but like thick. I can't believe I just did that. The difference between and I think you know what I'm saying. And he's a police officer, so he's in uniform. And his wife, lovely lady, very pretty, standing next to him, she happens to be below average height. So he looks like a monster next to her. And it's the first thing you see when you come in. And I start to wonder, like, are people intimidated by this? Is it uncomfortable being in a cop's house? What, like looking around, like, are you just not feel relaxed and comfortable? So we took the picture down. Hid it away under the bed somewhere. The very next person who walked into the house bought it. Is this anecdotal? Well, maybe, but it says something about how you make people feel when they first come into your property. It's not all nuts and bolts. There's a lot of rainbows and unicorns in this business. Second story, go to look at a house yesterday. It's a really, really nice place. It's a 2-apartment up in the East End, up in Airport Heights. It's something that is desirable in our market right now. So, we're gonna be able to sell the thing. Not gonna be a big issue. I'm actually really confident in it. And it's finished really well. The kitchen's beautiful, hardwood floors, it's in great shape, they keep it clean. And this almost sounds a little bit like a for sale ad, but it's not, there's the point to the story. It's got this really cool layout. So it's a split entry home. So as you know, when you walk into the door of a split entry, you got stairs that go up to your main floor, stairs that go down to your bottom floor, typical. And a little landing in between where your door is. Well, this one, attached to that landing is the actual living room. So the living room is halfway between the main floor and the basement. Kind of cool. So you got this railed off section from the living room up to where your kitchen is, and it's all open to below, and there's this big, beautiful vaulted ceiling. It's all wide open, and the kitchen is gorgeous. The whole thing is really, really pretty. It's very nice, feels very comfortable. Except all the walls are the same color, which wouldn't be that bad if the color wasn't baby shit brown. It's sort of putrid. So I say to the guy, I'm like, man, everything here is beautiful, but I can almost smell your walls. Like, this is not an attractive color. And I don't know, like I'm a dad. Baby shit brown is a color in my mind. There's also baby shit green and baby shit yellow, but we won't get into that. So we talked to him about how he needs to paint the room and he's down with it, he understands. Now, that's not gonna get him more money, but it'll make a big difference. It'll help sell the house. Because as soon as you walk in, you want the layout, and then Joe's still laughing, I'm trying. You want the railed off section above the, below the dining room and the kitchen and like the look of it, because it looks really nice. You want that to be the thing that pulls the feelings out, not the damp stickiness of baby shit brown. That was graphic. Is that graphic? Did you cringe a little when I said it? It threw up in your mouth. You should cringe because that's what the buyers are gonna do. So, those are 2 examples of first impressions and how a place makes you feel based on the first thing you see when you walk in. Also, how about the first thing you smell when you walk in? I'm a pet owner and my wife runs a daycare out of our house. And several of the children are still in diapers. So my house often smells like dogs, cat litter, and diapers. So if I were selling, and my hockey gear, which is probably worse than the rest of it combined, to be very honest. It's disgusting. Like, I sit in the dressing room full of like 21 other guys, and we're all putting on stinky hockey gear, and nobody will sit next to me. Like, they're all crammed up into the other corners, and there's always space next to me, because mine is particularly disgusting. Your house can't stink. It can't stink, because the first thing you do when you walk in, you're like, do these walls actually, is this scratch and sniff baby shit brown? That was good. That was like it was scripted. Like, there's a storyline that it never works out this way. I'm really happy with how this is playing out. I mean, I'll summarize things a little bit. Joe is cracking up. Your first impression is super, super important. Think about it not from the perspective of you who has lived there all the time. Because you know how, like, if you're home and you're cooking and you can't really smell what you're cooking because you eat it and you're exposed to it so long, and then you leave and you go out for a walk or something, and then you come back and your house stinks like onions. It always stunk like onions. It's just that you were immersed in it and you didn't notice it. It's the same thing with like your pet odors and your hockey gear and your diaper genie, which, by the way, none of those things actually solve the problem. It's just another garbage pail to put diapers in. They all stink. All of them. That is all that I have for today. We will see you and smell you next time. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you. On this episode, Snatch and Snatch. Okay, try again. On this episode, scratch. Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me. On this episode, it's hard to have diabetes. Grab and focus.